Alright, welcome back. And today our objective is to be able to add and subtract decimals. And we've already learned how to do that with whole numbers, so doing it with decimals is not that much different. So just as we have been always taking Cornell notes, I'm not going to write it out here. As we go on, I want to start showing less and less and have you being able to do that for yourself. So go ahead and write at the top under your objective. The objective is to be able to add and subtract decimals. And then, to draw your line for the keywords and then write the body of your notes on the right hand side. And this one we actually do have a few steps to go over. But first, let's start out with an example. And as we go through this example, maybe you can do some steps. So I'm just going to write example 1 here. Okay, and then I want to do 62.35 plus 379.1. Okay, now in order to start this, I think step 1, and if you're taking notes, which you should be, step 1 on how to add and subtract decimals should be steps. Okay, step 1, and I will say this, you can write this. Step 1 would be to line up the decimals. Okay, so line up the decimals. So if we have 600, let me just write it in the squares. Again, we're doing graph paper, so you should be writing inside the squares. That would be easiest. 62.35, and we're adding that to 379.1. So I'm going to put the 0.1 right here, and you can see how the decimals are lined up vertically. And then this is the ones place. Over here the 9 was in the ones place, the 7 was in the tens place, and the 3 was in the hundreds place. This is just like whole numbers. Whole numbers were already lined up for you in the ones place because they didn't have a decimal. But when you have working with decimals, since the 62.35 went all the way to the hundredths place and the 379.1 went to the tenths place, we need to make sure that we do line up those decimals. And we didn't have anything in the hundredths place here, so we're just going to go ahead and put in a 0. And that would be step 2. So step 1 would be line up the decimals. Step 2 would be fill in the missing zeros if you need to. I'm going to put a 0 there. It'll be the same steps for subtraction as well when we get to that in just a second. And then step 3 would be just to carry down the decimal. So our final answer, the decimal, is going to be right there, just in line with the rest of them. And then step 4 would be add or subtract, just like we did for the whole numbers. Now I realize that I'm speaking very quickly here, so at any time feel free to pause this video and rewind and listen to it again so that you are able to take good notes and you will have those for your record and also to show in class. So now we'll just simply add 5 plus 0 is 5, 3 plus 1 is 4, 2 plus 9 is 11, so we'll carry that 1 here. 6 plus 1 is 7, plus 7 is 14, carry the 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. So our final answer is 441.45 or 45 hundredths. Okay, so that would be our answer for the first example. And let's do one more. Let's do 25.2 plus 7.96. So step 1 is going to be to line up the decimals. So I have 25.2 and the 0.96 and the 7 was in the ones. I'm going to bring down the decimal. Now I'm just simply going to, fill in the zeros. There was a 0 here. 0 plus 6 is 6. 2 plus 9 is 11. Carry the 1. This was 7 plus 5 is 12. Plus 1 is 13. And 2 plus 1 equals 3. So we have 33.16. Now, how about Subtraction. Well, same exact steps. Let's do an example here. Subtraction example. Okay, and we'll do 93.81 minus 15.9. Okay, so step one is to line up the decimals. So I have 93.81, and this was 15.9. Step two is fill in the zeros. There'll be a 0 here. Draw the line and subtract. I'm going to carry down the decimal. 1 minus 0 is 1. 8 minus 9, can't do that, so I'm going to borrow 2 from here. 18 minus 9 is 9. 2 minus 5, can't do that, I'm going to borrow from here. 12 minus 5 is 7, and 8 minus 1 is 7, so I have 77.91. And one last example here, 739.2 minus 35.71. Okay, going to line up the decimals. 739.2, 35.71. Fill in any missing zeros. Here would be a 0. So the line subtract. I'm going to carry down the decimal, and then simply add or subtract. So 0 minus 1, I'm going to have to borrow. That will give us 10 minus 1 is 9. 1 minus 7, can't do that, I'm going to have to borrow from here. So 11 minus 7 is 4. 8 minus 5 is 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. And 7 minus, could have put a 0 here, but I don't think it's necessary. There is your 7, 703.49. And so if you want a summary for this lesson, I would say to add or subtract decimals, simply line up the decimals, fill in the zeros, bring down the decimal for the answer, and then solve as you normally would for whole numbers. I would just summarize those steps. Alright, that's it for this lesson. Thank you for watching.